Hi, my name is Grace West. I'm going to share about my my internship at City of Joy, which is a little school in Rwanda, Africa. It was located in the district of Nyanza, which, if you know anything about Rwanda, it's surrounded by Tanzania, Uganda, and the Congo, with Burundi at the bottom. Some of the struggles at this school, within the community of the school that directly affect the children there, is the lack of water. They're currently in a drought. And so this drought really affects kids as they have to walk for miles to get water and can't get an education. This is what it used to look like here, nice and green. The second thing is poverty. A lot of these kids are very impoverished, and so they can't afford food, they can't afford clothing, they're hardly making any money. And so, yeah, a lot of kids get caught in the middle as this high school, or not high school, sorry, this school only accepts kids who are poor enough to be sent on a list by the government saying these people cannot afford food. And so the school takes them in and feeds them and provides them with an education. But for the kids in the community who can't afford a uniform but are able to afford food, they unfortunately are not allowed to go to school because the public schools only accept kids who have a uniform. The school has 365 students. I chose this experience because it gave me both experience teaching in the classroom for middle school and high school. I got to teach Bible, chemistry, physics, and yeah, it just gave me a lot of opportunity to learn about lesson planning and classroom management and a lot of the skills that come with that. And then also just cross-cultural experiences, provided a lot of cross-cultural experiences with working with the parents in the community, going to the market, different types of stuff like that. And so also working with language barriers, assisting in an adults English class, and partnering with the Deaf Club allowed me to work with people who don't speak like me, don't think like me, and it was difficult to teach. So yeah, it was very exciting. Here are the goals of this experience. The first one was collaboration with cross culture. Here I got to disciple students and learning about the difference in their mindset because of where they live. They don't have anything material, so thinking about like how do you teach to kids in a class with nothing to teach with, very limited materials. How do you work with teachers who don't necessarily think like you and collaborating with them and discussing things and I did a lot of team bonding, and we got to work again with the English class and Deaf Club. We also got to help organize, and our goal was to help organize parts of the school and then also maintain the guest house. So, social media marketing, there's 90 unsponsored kids, and the goal was to bring awareness to this need. And then the fourth and final thing was the teaching experience, where I was able to work with several teachers there who mentored me and taught me a lot about lesson planning, activity development, the different factors that go into teaching a lesson and teaching kids for a lot longer than you would in the US. So, larger block periods and how to keep them engaged. There we go. Okay. During the first week, two interns were paired with two upper level high school students while we taught in service, while the teachers were doing their in service training hours. Here was my team. I had an intern, and then I also had two high schoolers, Fosta and John Busco, and we were able to teach first through ninth grade Bible classes. I also was able to work with the Deaf Club this week and get to know them some. I was even given assigned names. That was really special. But here I learned that teaching is not always easy, and cultural barriers are real. In lesson planning, I learned about trusting my team and delegating to them, knowing they understand the culture better than I do. And so as the team lead, bouncing ideas off of them and allowing them to lead in areas as well. So an example of this, which is a really funny story, is I brought a rubber snake to teach the Adam and Eve skit to the younger kids, and I didn't think about the fact that they've never seen a fake snake or a non-poisonous snake. So pulling out a snake in the middle of the class stood up screaming, and some even headed for the door. So lots of things that you do wrong and learn from, but the Bible class, we brought 100 New Testament Bibles. So in accomplishing these goals, I just was able to spend time in the classroom. I was able to learn from mentor teachers, was able to collaborate and work with peers as well as people that were older than me. Right here is an example. Teacher Josiane, we worked in her class for a lot of the month while we were there. I forgot to say I was there for 40 days. So at the school, I learned from her about how to integrate discussion into your classroom setting. There's the Bibles again. Here at the Deaf Club, I was really scared with the Deaf Club. I didn't know how it would go considering that I am not deaf and also I don't know sign language. This was very difficult, but this is the school Cadagra, which is a partnered school with the school we worked for. Um, I was I was able to get to know the kids there over the course of my time there, and they were very patient with me as I learned sign language and as I worked with them. So that was it was very encouraging to me to know that I don't have to know all the answers, and that was something I went in not understanding is that as a teacher, if you are thinking you know the answers, then that's not a great place to be mindset wise. That's okay to be wrong, and it's a good thing. Here is another example of that in Rwanda, the kids they understand what it means to escape their poverty through school because the alternative to going and getting a good education is backbreaking work. And so they value education much more than I think I ever did as a high schooler. And so during this part of the trip, I was able to build a relationship with teacher Athanas here on the left under the chemistry image. I shadowed him during his physics, chemistry, freshman classes, and I also was able to spend time with the sophomores during their study hall and just as a tutor. And then City of Joy is a STEM school, and they spend a lot of their time either in math or science. Their out block hours are 3 hours long. So watching teacher Athanas, I learned that it is important to have an engaging lecture and class. So yeah, I want to be a high school teacher. So this is very, very valuable information for me. Um, I was able to student teach, and I learned a lot about engaging like lectures, group activities, active learning, movement within the classroom, all the different skills I need to be a good teacher. And also that knowing everything on a subject does not make me a great teacher, but loving my students and acknowledging my weakness does. So yeah, I also learned a lot about biblical integration and keeping kids moving. So during the physics labs, they have no chairs. They have to be up and moving the entire time, and this helps them to stay engaged over the course of their long class periods. Here we're learning about prisms and light. The second thing I learned, or the third thing I learned, was about social media marketing. It was where I got to build relationships with these kids over the course of the time there, and then take their pictures and edit these photos and learn about photo processing and what it takes to tell a story. Here, the little girl on the left, I was able to take her picture during her first grade class period as she peeked through all the heads in the crowd. So just learning to tell stories through my images and getting these, one of our biggest goals was getting the 90 kids that were still unsponsored, sponsored. So this marketing played a big role in that. That's kind of how I accomplished that requirement there for that goal. Cross-cultural experiences. I got to work with the adults, the basket weavers. These are a lot of parents at the school, working with them, learning about their job, what they do, and how that influences their kids and everything there. Also, the adults English class, learning to collaborate with someone you don't understand and you can't speak their language, and also the value of language in education, because oftentimes I found that it was difficult to explain something that they didn't understand because they don't have it in their culture. So learning about how to communicate with someone and working with someone side by side, it just demonstrates the impact of education. These kids, they get all of their beautiful clothing from the sewing school. So it was very neat to watch that graduation. We got to watch the graduation of the sewing school members. It's a partner. There's the sewing school, there's the weaving school, and they have graduations as those people leave, as those young parents leave and start their own sewing business. So this all applies. My career as teaching high school science is my dream, and so I got to learn about classroom management, language barriers, the impact of just different learning styles have on the ability of a kid to learn, and same thing with the home life, whatever's going on in their home life, how that affects classroom management and what's going on there. Lesson planning was huge, and I got to learn how to develop and instigate creative and active lessons within the classroom. I learned a lot about professional development, leadership collaboration, marketing strategies, and also with the cultural engagement appreciation in the workplace. That's like I'm going to have people from different cultures my entire life, and so being able to engage with them. But yeah, that's my presentation. Thank you. I was able to accomplish um, and achieve all those different goals and requirements with the classroom hours and working side by side with teachers, professional development and organization skills, different social media marketing, all those things I talked about. But I appreciate you listening.